praise turns prisons into platforms. When we read the Bible in the book of Acts, it speaks about how Paul and Silas was praising God in the prison, and it speaks about how the chains broke off and all the doors of the prison opened up, and then they were able to preach the gospel to the jailer. So what you need to understand is that when you're in bondage and you're in chains and your feet are in fetters, that when you start to praise God, you're going to be set free, and then what's going to happen is that you're going to be elevated and be able to speak upon the platform. In other words, a door is going to be open, a blessing's going to be released, something good's going to take place in your life. But it all starts with that prayer. With that praise. So if you're going through a situation today, you've got mind bondage, things ain't going right, you feel really bogged down, a big burden's upon your life, you feel bound up, you feel tied up by the enemy, your mind is like, it's like barbed wire, your mind's tight. What you need to do is get into praise, because when you get into praise, God's going to break every chain and every fetter from off your life, and then you're going to raise up and you're going to be put on a platform, or in other words, you're going to be able to see the opportunities and the blessings that God has made available to you. Because when you're in bondage and you're underneath the condemnation of the devil, you can't see opportunities that God has made available to you. You can't live your life in spiritual clarity. You find yourself in darkness. So what we do is when we praise through, give God the glory, then all of those chains come off, and all of a sudden you can start to interpret and perceive the blessings of the Lord. You start to perceive the open doors and the opportunities. So get into praise today so that those chains can be broken and so that you can move onto that platform.